This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.
Here we go. The dunks have been rolling in thick and fast over the season so far, and we hope we get a few more of them in the month of February because it's Dunkuary on behalf of Sportsbet. For every dunk in the month of February, we are donating $500 to Australian prostate cancer. That's $500 for every single dunk. I reckon there's going to be plenty of them if the players know that we're giving this money away to a good cause. And not just charity, there's also going to be a chance in March, Melbourne United take on the Brisbane Bullets, and one lucky fan is going to have the chance to shoot out for whatever we make for charity. We're going to match it, and one fan is going to shoot from half court to try to win that cash all for themselves as well. So let's hope we get plenty of dunks this February. Enjoy and gamble responsibly.
So fresh, I'm so raw.
They say that winning form is good form. Well, for the two teams in action tonight on Monday Night Basketball, that couldn't be any further from the truth. The Illawarra Hawks and the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix coming off their biggest losses of the Hungry Jacks NBL season. Who hits back the hardest? That is what we find out tonight. Hello and welcome. Jack Heverin joined in commentary by Liam Santamaria and Andrew Gaze. Drewy, two teams who need a win.
Well, they certainly do, and both teams have had their problems in their last outing, but for the Illawarra Hawks, it's been a consistent trend over the past 3 or 4 games. Defensively, they have been as poor as I can think or remember of a Brian Goorjian coach team. So giving up 90 points to the New Zealand Breakers last week was a setback. So really interested to see how they bounce back. And for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, defence has been their problem since they've come into the league, but what we saw against the Perth Wildcats, they were well down.
DoorDash starting 5. Hungry, fire up DoorDash and order your game day essentials. Now, Liam, a change to the starting lineup tonight as well?
Their first time changing their starting lineup for the season, the Hawks. Sam Froling off the bench. Tim Conrad, the veteran, is going to start, and it sets up the matchup with Antonius Cleveland on Mitch Creek, which should be a lot of fun, but they've lost 4 of their last 6. And Gorge shaking things up to improve defensively.
Let's get courtside to the Wynn Entertainment Centre. Shane Heal's made the trip down the freeway for Monday Night Basketball. Hammer, what have you made of the Hawks in the last 4 weeks?
Well, they've been disappointing, really. I mean, to only score 67 points against New Zealand was a surprise, but to give up 90 was a big concern, and you can see that look on Gorge's face. I've seen that before. He would have trained his guys hard this week, and I tell you, there's another part of Australia that will be relying on Southeast Melbourne winning tonight, and it's Tasmania, because if the Hawks go down, the Jack Jumpers are in the top 4.
Long way to go yet, Hammer, but you've played under Brian Gorge, and we know he's the master. He's able to turn things around. What you expect that they would have gone throughout the course of the week to prepare for this one?
Well, definitely going to be the defensive end. As I said, about 90 points, just way too many for a Gorge coach team, but they have to find a way to get buckets as well. I'm not sure their mix of their imports is right at the moment. I think they have to make some adjustments. They've made a change to their starting lineup to see how it plays out.
And Hammer, the DoorDash starting lineup for the Phoenix. Again, a whole bunch of outs. Adnam, Glidden, Tarangi, Pernod all missing this one, as well as the head coach Simon Mitchell. Judd Flavel standing in for him. What do you make of this undermanned Phoenix squad?
Well, it's going to be a challenge, no doubt about that. But when you have a look at that lineup, they've got a lot of talent and a lot of experience. They're still really well balanced. So you would have to think that Illawarra are favourites to win this game, but there's no way I'd write Southeast Melbourne off in this game. They've won 6 of the last 7 matchups against the Hawks.
Hammer, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you across the night at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. So the names that you mentioned, Liam, that aren't there as significant, they all didn't play on Saturday night in the loss to Perth as well. The last thing that the Phoenix need tonight is to have Brandon Ashley and Joe Chi in foul trouble again.
Well, that's right, and a lot of it's self-inflicted wounds. Here we see Big Joe Chi. You just can't do that. Stepping out, that's a blocking foul every day of the week, regardless if you got the ball or not. And then Brandon Ashley, that's the other one that they're just stepping in. Now, these fouls look soft, but they are absolutely there. And when you've got coming out and trying a hard show on those screens, stepping out, use his leg. Here he goes, he does it again, sticks the leg out. guards' eyes light up when they see that because they know they can draw the foul. So he's got to be aware of making some adjustments. But, fellas, his foul problems has been something that he's a foul waiting to happen. You go back to the New Zealand Breakers, he was in all sorts of foul trouble back in his time there as well, averaging almost, I think, Liam, close to 4 fouls a game. So he needs to make some adjustments and not just point the finger at the officials.
Yeah, he's had 4 or more in each of his last 3 games. Joe Chi, the other one, of course, needs to step up big time. Had 12 minutes the other night with the foul trouble, 4 points and 4 rebounds. And look, he's going to be matched up against Duop Reith right off the opening tip. An elite operator on the interior for Illawarra. The Phoenix will be looking for their Chinese superstar to have a big game.
And with this change to the starting lineup, I'm surprised they didn't go with Xavier Rathan-Mays instead of Conrad, because, you know, he's that spark. He's not shooting it well from the three-point line, but as Leonard Copeland always talks about, the imports just helps their confidence when they see themselves in the starting lineup.
Illawarra have won just 2 of their last 6 games. They lose tonight, they lose their spot inside the top 4. And the Jack Jumpers, can't believe we're saying that, will be inside the top 4 at the end of round 10. This Reith has Jessup cutting to the basket, scores the first points inside 20 seconds.
A good execution. You come to the set, it was a little cross screen for a post-up, but wasn't on. They didn't just go into panic one-on-one mode. They continued to get through their sets and came up with a really high percentage play.
Game number 50 tonight in the Hungry Jacks NBL for Justinian Jessup. The first next star to achieve that mini milestone. Brockhoff, nice take. Gets himself on the line.
It was a good take from Brockhoff. Struggling from the perimeter this season. 1 of 6 the other night against the Wildcats. Just 22% on the year, but still ticking the scoreboard over to some extent. I think he's double figures in 5 of his last 7 games. Brockhoff, because he's shown a willingness to put it on the deck, put pressure on the defense. Here he gets to the strike.
We've had fond memories of this venue last season where he lit it up, and unfortunately for him in the Phoenix, we haven't seen enough of that from Ryan Brockhoff.
7 of 11 from outside in that game. There's Judd Flavel coaching game number 2. How's this for an initiation? Game 1, cops the most successful team in the league's history. Game 2, cops the most successful coach in the game's history. Munford bringing the ball up the floor for the Phoenix. Creek's pass chopped off by Harvey. An early gift for the Hawks. He attracts a crowd. And Reith had the show from Chi. Put the ball on the floor and lays it up with the left hand.
I like that from Duop Reith. Got to challenge the big fella off the bounce. Pick and pop. Chi closed out the space, and then Reith blew right by into the cup.
10 points, 5 rebounds in their loss to New Zealand last Wednesday. Didn't have a huge say in proceedings. Munford fires away. Hand in the face, it's good. Xavier Munford averaging 15 points a game. He's got himself going early. Phoenix lead it by 1. Here's Jessup after the handoff. Uses Harvey. Offensive rebound, Conrad. He couldn't put it back in either. And Munford sees Creek with his back to the basket. Tries to back in and scores.
Well, he's going to go to work on that matchup if he gets it down low. Mitch Creek on Tim Conrad. I've seen it. They've been mixing it up. The Hawks, a little bit of Cleveland. There's Brian Brockhoff, foul on the perimeter. Cleveland on Creek, a little bit of Conrad on Creek as they get matched up in transition. And this man, Xavier Munford, feeling good. Team high 18 points the other night. Is just starting to find his rhythm again. He had that massive 27 points on debut. Hasn't had an explosive, huge scoring game since, but picking his spots.
And I like what Phoenix have shown in these first couple of minutes down here on the defensive end. They're up and in the lanes, ball pressure. They're not just reacting to what the Hawks are doing, they're trying to dictate the tempo. And so far, with the exception of that blow by Reith, they've been pretty good.
Creek again, back to the basket. This time guarded by Cleveland. Same result.
He has been elite. In fact, right now, if you're talking about MVPs of the competition, he is right up there, if not the MVP. Inside, outside, and there you just see playing bully ball down low and made it look easy.
Reith left open for three, knocks that one down.
Well, Yochi's got his hands full. When he closed out and tried to contest, there was the easy blow by. That time he gave him a little bit more space, looked him in the eye and stuck it in his eye.
And still with Sam Froling to come off the bench tonight. Creek threw it up there for cheap. He hurts them at the other end.
Nice look from Creek. The threat of the three-point shot gets Cleveland up in the air. And then he puts it on the deck, draws the help, and finds the big fella. And down the other end, I love the ball movement from the Hawks. Felt like it got a little sticky down in Tasmania, that loss to New Zealand on Wednesday night, but they're shifting it around tonight.
There's Tim Conrad. That'll bring the home fans into it. They love that man.
He does, and that's what he's built for these days. He's going to try his hardest on this end of the floor, but his asset is exactly that. Coming in, spreading the floor, and knocking down shots.
Here's that pass from Mitch Creek. Again, just lifts the defense, throws it above the rim, and then down the other end. Dribble handoff, Joe Chi sitting deep, staying at home, and as a result, a little bit of daylight for Conrad.
42% across the season. Tim Conrad from outside. It's Creek takes it to the basket and stuffs it.
He's a handful, and Illawarra, early signs have not solved the defensive problem. There's going to be an offensive foul. Push off by Tyler Harvey. And that's what you see. It's the accumulation of that ball pressure that I was talking about. There you see the underneath out of bounds play. And that is as easy to you'll ever want to see. Upper, underneath, out of bounds. There is a defensive breakdown. And then Tyler Harvey just getting worn down because it's hard to catch it in the lanes and just use the left arm to push off, gets called for the offensive foul.
A little different look defensively here from the Hawks. Munford blows it up.
This is ridiculous now. Perfect 6 of 6, Liam.
Tyler Harvey, 2 fouls. He takes a seat. Time Mays in to replace him.
Southeast Melbourne have scored the last 5. And they lead by 6. Reith at the top of the key. Shot clock down to 7. Cleveland crosses over. His jumper's short. Liafa wants to get things moving from one end to the other, and one.
Great take. Liafa. Joe Chi's presence at the defensive end, forcing the miss, and then Liafa's not wasting any time, pushing it middle cylinder. He's got the defense on the back foot, and one finish at the rim.
It's just a little inside-out move. Created all sorts of space for Liafa. It's Tyler Harvey, who's been in good form of late with his shooting. Picked up those 2 fouls, so don't expect him to come back in this quarter.
Jessup's going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting offensively. He misses out. Sam Froling coming off the bench tonight. Again, defensive collapse. That time they get away with conceding a foul only, but there's some worrying signs here for Illawarra at this end of the floor.
The only thing about it is, if you think back to a couple of days ago, this was the situation against the Perth Wildcats at home, and Phoenix come out of the gates, get 14, 15 points up, and you think it's all on track. Well, it was all on track for one quarter. Then the next 3 quarters, it went horribly pear-shaped. So Illawarra would take some heart out of the fact that they've shown that it can go a little awry for them.
Let's get courtside to Shane Hill.
I agree. Big concerns for Brian Goorjian. He would have been preaching defense all week, but some of the mistakes are elementary mistakes as well. Like, you can't lock and trail against Mitch Creek. You've got to sneak through. You've got to meet him between him and the basket. You can't fall for an up fake and allow him to penetrate. And if you're going to switch against Mitch Creek and allow a guard to play one-on-one in the block, it's going to be a long night.
Well, it might get a little better for Hawks fans. They've got some burgers. Code word is Hawks, courtesy of our great friends Hungry Jacks. Their team down 9 in the first quarter. Just falling into the game quickly.
Interesting to see how Sam Froling, the young fella, responds. First time he hasn't started. He's had some big games this season, and it can knock you out a little bit when you've been a starter and you're coming off the bench.
This is what I like from Ryan Brockhoff. Well, first catch, he attacks the rim, gets to the free throw line, and there curls the screen, puts it on the deck, knocks down the floater, mixing it up offensively, not just settling to be a catch and shoot guy.
And South East Melbourne are perfect, 8 from 8 from the field so far. To what Reith misses, and that makes Illawarra 5 of 12 from the same statistics so far. Liafa for 3. It's good.
Ridiculous. This is a purple patch like we haven't seen too often. 9 of 9 now, 3 of 3 from the three-point line. Only got the 1 turnover, and they lead the rebound count 6-2.
They've got themselves on another mini 5-0 run. Doing some big damage in this opening quarter. Reith had to shoot over the top of Liafa. It doesn't drop either.
That's an excellent defensive possession. Rotations, everybody on point, talking, forcing a contested mid-range shot, and Creek down the other end, right to the rim. He is 4 of 4, all at the cup. Timeout, Hawks. Problems to solve.
Big problems. Have a look at the shot chart. Very rarely you see that. All green. All green.
No, it looks like a smile.
It's for the South East Melbourne Phoenix, and it should be, because it's a thing of beauty. And down the other end, it's a little all over the place and a lot of red crosses.
Single possession. Hey, we're getting smashed on the glass. We're not doing anything fine right now. We're not picking the ball up. We're not doing anything to take it down. Don't cover our heads, man. Don't let it roll right now. Come on. Stay in it. Stop it out. Kirk was in the same position, man. They kept plugging away. Plug away. Okay. You're in the 5. When we go reverse now, let's go reverse into C5, all right? When we go cutters, let's go side pick and roll, all right? We'll mix up the defenses here. Be ready. Come on, here we go.
It's been fascinating to go inside the Illawarra huddles in the last 5 games. To see the expressions from Brian Gorshin, searching for answers, trying to find a way to get this group going.
To me, it's him throwing it back on the guys. You can hear him talking and letting them, he's monitoring and letting them figure it out. And at the end, he comes in with the play that he wants to run, has a little bit to say, looks them in the eye, then lets them figure it out, then comes back with a few words. But to me, the problem they're having here on the offensive end, they run their little action, but it's almost all for nothing. It's all breaking down into a one-on-one situation. They're getting very little help from their structure right now. Even though they are getting through some of the pattern, they're not necessarily creating great looks out of it, and it's just types of shots you could get without any offense whatsoever.
Now Creek pulls up in transition. South East Melbourne's first miss of the game. Gone the best part of 8 minutes without missing. Froling was bumped. Foul called on Liafa.
You're looking for a little bit of a spark at the offensive end. Harry Froling comes in. Didn't get much run the other night, Big Harry. Season low 3 minutes. And then also Isaac White getting some first quarter burn. And for the Phoenix, Lachlan Barker, wasn't he impressive against the Wildcats? First NBL points, he got 11 of them. And he's out there, picks up the personal. Tom Mays to the free throw line.
Couldn't be more happy for Lockie Barker. He was with the Sydney program when I was there just for a season, just really as a volunteer. Came on, eventually got some time as a DP, but ask Kevin Lish, Jerome Randall, Kyle Adnam about this young man, and he's still very much a young man, 25, 26 years of age, I'd guess.
You give him some buckets?
And he would come out and put on a show. He'd be in that third team, and the level of competitiveness that he would single-handedly provide with his offense, and he's a warrior down the other end. He would cop some real genuine abuse in physically I'm talking about, but wouldn't say anything, but wouldn't shy away and wouldn't take a backward step. And so happy to see him did some fantastic work with the Frankston Blues last season in the NBL1 as well.
Ashley inside, can't finish off. So the obvious question with Lockie Barker then, Liam, how has he not been picked up?
Well, he has right here as a COVID replacement. Yeah, I mean, he's just one of those guys that's been right on that NBL fringe. I thought Tasmania would have a good lot.
He's from there.
That's right. I thought they'd have a long, hard look at him last off-season. But I'll tell you what, I'll be shocked if he doesn't have an NBL fully contracted position in NBL23.
Something tells me that the future is about to get a whole lot brighter for that young man. Broke off late in the clock. Not that time. The Hawks trying to score off back-to-back possessions for the first time tonight. Nice pass. Finds Froling.
Beautiful back cut from Froling. Well timed. Just felt the defense overplaying on the high side. Easy bucket at the rim.
It's back to 10. Things look a little more respectable. Barker lost it. And that'll be an Illawarra ball. There's Isaac White. His last 10 games of last season averaged a little under 8 points a game and shot the 3 ball at 40%. But for whatever reason, just hasn't been in the rotation this year. He's averaging 3 minutes a game and has not scored this season.
Well, there's a lot of guys on that Illawarra bench that haven't had much run. Emmett Nah can't get off the bench at all. And the other guy for me is AJ Ogilvie. Started 37 games for the Hawks last season. Played nearly 20 minutes a game. Well, this season, just about 5 minutes a game. And, you know, they've been having their struggles defensively. I mean, that's a guy who brings something at the defensive end. We're all impressed with what he provided for that team last year that was one of the top-ranked defenses over the course of the season. I'm surprised Gorge hasn't turned to him from time to time to give him a spark defensively.
Well, it is hard with the players that they brought in, though, and they're deep in that spot. But I hear you. He does provide that experience, but when you think of the Froling boys, Duop, Reith, they've got some bodies in that spot that makes it hard to get everyone involved.
Foul on Isaac White.
Oh, dear. I guess maybe that right arm, it looked like Ryan Broekhoff there was just a little off balance and
or pushed out of a cannon. Speaking of Frankston, Lockie Barker playing with Frankston. Ryan Broekhoff, Frankston boy, born and bred. The Mighty Blues.
They've done well. You throw in David Anderson and over the years, they've produced some talent at this level.
28-16. Froling thought about the three. Sends it back to the top of the key. Rattan Mays. There's Froling. This time bumped on the way through by Toy Smith-Milner.
This is where you get the payoff from staying out of foul trouble earlier in the quarter. You know, you still got one to give there at the end last.
And it was on the right person too, who really foul's not going to be an issue.
So important to stay out of early fouls to begin the quarter. Gorge said after their last loss, I think we've got to bring more of a physicality to it. They can't get to the free throw line. They're not getting it done defensively. Early fouls. Tyler Harvey picked up 2. 6 first quarter fouls for the Hawks.
Nice knock down Rattan Mays. He has 4 points in the game. Leading scorer for the Hawks is Duop Reith with 5. Mitch Creek has 8 on 4 of 5 in this opening term for the Phoenix. Last play. Mumford gets to work. His floater doesn't go. Ashley misses it. Broekhoff late in the clock. Phoenix had their chances, but they will take a 10-point lead into quarter time at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. 28-18. Second quarter's coming up next in the Hungry Jacks NBL. quarter time at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. It was all Southeast Melbourne in the opening quarter. They went 10 for 10 to start the game, and they lead 28-18. Mitch Creek in outstanding touch. He has 8 points in the opening quarter. Xavier Munford and Isaiah Liafa have 6 points as well. For Illawarra, their struggles from the field, 7 for 18. And the winner of tonight's $50 Kmart gift card is Joe Davies. Since Southeast Melbourne joined the NBL, our families have loved attending games and cheering for the boys. It's a great bonding time for the family.
We're looking for those effort and energy stats as well to see how the game's unfolding. And Phoenix have been great on the boards. They win that category 11-5. In fact, Brian Brockhoff with 7 boards in the first quarter. He's out rebounded the Illawarra Hawks by himself.
Smith Milner out there to start the second quarter. Short on that 3 of 6. Indeed, they are the #1 3-point shooting team in the competition, Southeast Melbourne.
They shot 3 of 6 threes in the first quarter against Perth, but then they finished that game 1 of 16.
Froling met at the summit by Smith Milner. Hawks fans wanted a foul. Froling stays down. Phoenix have got the advantage up ahead. Mumford had his shot blocked by Jessup. Now they push forward. Harvey feet set. Got it.
That's where he's so dangerous. Tyler Harvey. In transition, when you turn it over or the Hawks can clear it quickly, finds the open space and drills it.
His first points of the game. Ashley looks into the corner. Smith Milner left open. Too long in the key. The numbers stack up for Tyler Harvey when he makes three made threes in a game, I should say. There's the first block. And here is Tyler Harvey. 6-1 when Harvey has more than 3 threes in a game. Illawarra on the season.
And he's, after a slow start shooting, he's now averaged 19 points a game at 49% and 12 to 30 from distance in the past 4 games. So he's getting back into that form that we saw last season.
All NBL first team form of last season. Ratan Mays stepping back. Tough 3 doesn't go down.
That is a tough 3. Step back for a guy who's not shooting it all that well from the 3-point line.
Big rebound, Barker. Let it well off the rim. And it bounced back, and he was the last man to touch it. Checks out of the game. Here's that effort. So the Phoenix tonight, no Kyle Adnam, no Dane Pinot, no Cam Glidden, no Ruben Tarangi, and no Simon Mitchell, the head coach, due to COVID protocols. Lachlan Barker suiting up, Cohen Sapwell suiting up tonight, and Owen Foxwell, who made his debut on Saturday, also suiting up as we get courtside to Shane Hill.
This is where I think Illawarra can get better. Harvey and Jessup hadn't made a 3-point basket in the first quarter. Harvey finally gets one, and then they come down, and instead of running a play for him and getting him going, they take a contested step-back 3. George won't like that.
Yeah, great call, Hammer. And particularly with his form over the last 3 or 4 games, sat out half that quarter with fouls, and he's just made one. Get him going. Get him a look.
Broke-off. Tried to bank it home.
No, he was not trying to bank that.
I'm trying to be glass half full.
I'm trying to be honest.
No, that's true. Always the best policy. Jessup swings to the corner. Cleveland gave up the 3. The ball's moving around. It settles with Harvey. He goes splash once more.
That's much better from the Hawks. Timeout, Southeast Melbourne. Ball movement. When the ball moves for this team, you get Sam Froling short roll, pitch it around the perimeter, penetrate, find the open man on the arc. This is how the play finished. Cleveland finding Harvey. They're last in the league in assist percentage, the Hawks. That has to improve. They've got to get back to moving the ball, finding each other, and that's when they'll knock down shots.
We're about to head into the Southeast Melbourne huddle with standing coach Judd Flavel.
Okay, they've found some of the short rolls against a hard show. Everything right now is connected. Connected, okay? So present yourself early, and then you're out of there early. Now, what happens is that he might hold the dribble and go ahead and attack the paint. It's going to be a late switch. If that's the case, then you're behind it, okay? Just for now, they're starting to find their rhythm off that one, okay? Be wary of the zone. Be wary of the zone. All right. Hey, we're going back to bolt pinch here. Bolt pinch. Last time we ran it, this guard was really heavy in. Make sure we stay low. Wide open on that one. If he drives it, hold your seal. Hold your seal. Let's go, boys.
Good stuff from Judd Flavel. You heard right off the top of that timeout, he said that they're starting to find their rhythm on the short rolls. So Gorgin's gone to the traditional lineup that they've had all season long, with Reith and Froling both out there on the floor. And with the Phoenix with their coverages on those ball screens, the big man's jumping out. Hard show to stop the ball. And they're just dropping a little bounce pass, little pocket pass to the big fella, and then they're making plays out of that. So timeout. Let's readjust the coverages, was Judd Flavel's approach. Try to put a stop to that Hawks momentum.
Phoenix led this game 26-12. Illawarra have hit back and have scored the last 10 points in the game. Mitch Creek wearing number 50 for the remainder of tonight's game. It's not a huge change from the 55. It's a bit easier to follow along than when they bring out the 83 or something like that. 79, I think, is the Hawks' blood jersey. Illawarra, step back three, doesn't go. Phoenix ball from the baseline, 12 on the shot clock.
Illawarra have picked up their defence, but this is just yet another example. Sometimes it's just about the ball going in the hole. And yeah, they're cranked it up and not quite as open, but Phoenix just missing some of those shots that they were making earlier on. That's a tough one. In traffic, hint of a foul that goes unwhistled.
Harvey's pass chopped off. Broke off to the other end. Tried to finish off with the left hand. The end result's a good one.
Is that Mumford putting a lid on that one?
And then Harvey steps out of bounds. The Phoenix get the ball straight back. A win tonight for South East Melbourne. They'll find themselves back inside the top two, with 5 home games to come. And when I say home, I mean in the state of Victoria. There's a throwdown in amongst the next 5. Ashley, presence underneath, found it and scores.
Game, Mitch Creek over the top. It's 2 assists for him now. 8 points, 2 boards, 2 assists. Finding his big fellas underneath.
Cleveland left open. Can't knock it down, just 25% from outside this season. Meanwhile, Munford, aggressive at the other end, has drawn a foul.
I think they look good, the Phoenix, when Munford's in an aggressive state of mind. He got all those guys out. He doesn't have Kyle Attenham checking in behind him tonight, so he go, all right, you know what, I know I'm playing 35 if I don't get in foul trouble.
And you know, I can make a few mistakes here or there, and he's going to look down that bench and, well, maybe we need to just
let him play through it.
Let him play through that error.
He's come out aggressive. 9 points, working on becoming the first guy in the double digits.
He's averaging the 20, close enough to 25 minutes a game. And numbers are solid, around 15, 42%, but I think he's got a little bit more still left in there.
Hard act to follow. Kiefer Sykes was the man that he replaced from the previous season. Now doing wonderful things. Shot clock down to 5. Harvey has to fire from a long way out. Chi drags in the rebound. And Harry Froling trying to take his position on the low block against Chi. Illawarra left open. That rattles out. Chi picks it up, puts it back in. Phoenix have scored the last 6.
Just great work, effort. Went in there, no body on Chi, able to roll around that baseline and ball bounced to his advantage.
Starting to get a little run on happening again. Froling in a big offensive rebound. Kicks it out to his brother. Harvey lost the ball off the foot of Brokoff.
I'm impressed with the Phoenix and their efforts defensively in this first half. Their defense, it's up and down.
Yes, it is.
And it's been much improved in these early parts of this season. They were third in defensive rating a few days ago, dropped away after that loss to Perth. But today, fighting over screens in this first half, sliding their feet, staying in front. They've limited Illawarra to just 3 offensive rebounds in the first 15 minutes of this game.
Jessup sitting down with just 2 points to his name.
You get a chance, Liam. Just let us all know and fill us in on what are the criteria for a defensive rating. Saying they're third in the competition.
Well, they were, yeah. The amount of points they give up per 100 possession. So basically how your defense is going, taking into consideration the pace of play, how many shots go up in your game. So gives it an accurate, more accurate read as Froling finishes at the rim on how you're going defensively, offensively, and how your schemes are operating. And the Phoenix, I think they'd be pretty happy when they look at that and the steps they're taking defensively. Of course, Joe Chi, a huge part of that when he's healthy and out there, protecting the rim.
Give it up that time. Rattan Mays lays it up. Phoenix call a timeout straight away to nip this little mini run in the bud. 38-30. 3 minutes and 38 seconds before half-time.
Yeah, it has, and I think you're right. There have just been those lulls. The thing about the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, you see it like it was early on, the ball pressure, and you go, well, this is how it's supposed to look, but just every now and again they take the foot off the pedal. Let's listen in to Brian Gordon.
We can't get beat on hustle plays, man. We're playing for our lives. We're playing for our lives. 53 action with you two on that spread, and now you're in the 5, right? The first one, let's go a 53. You're bringing it up. You cut off it, and we'll go a C5. No. Let's go aside, all right, aside. So you bring it up, you set it, you roll out of there, you're on the weak side off that elbow, all right? That's our next possession. Hey, I'm gonna mix up the defenses. You guys gotta call the blacks. Let's go at 2. Here we go.
Illawarra down 8. 3.5 minutes before half-time. We're up to 18 dunks for every dunk in the month of February. In an NBL game, $500 will go to the Australian prostate cancer. A further $500 for each dunk is going to go into a prize pool. You can head to the NBL website for your chance to win. Xavier Rattan Mays could have almost made that 19 then.
You know, sometimes it's just better to play within your limits. Just roll it in there. All only counts as 2, but for the sake of a charity, I hear where you come from.
Did Mumford get credited with the putback?
I'm not sure.
I reckon.
Have to.
500 in the till.
We'll check in with the government supervisors.
Felix, sort that out for us.
Mumford off target. The Hawks are starting to build something in a game of runs. Rattan Mays sent the D one way, found space to knock down the mid-range.
Crafty stuff from Rattan Mays. Little pace pass fake.
I think it's a good call by Brian Gordon as well. Just mixing it up, going to a 2-3 zone on his call. So it's not just going to be straight 2-3 for 5 or so minutes. He's going to change it just to keep Phoenix guessing, but you've got to do a better job on the glass.
Joe Chi, his second offensive rebound. He has 6 points. Froling has Conrad wide open. And they hustle and they get the ball back, and Chi picks up the foul. No prizes for guessing who Brian Gordon was talking to then.
Well, it's hard. When you're in a 2-3 zone, you don't, there's the foul. Nothing short. They're the ones that he's got to avoid. You like the intent, but just a little overzealous, pushing out with the legs. But when you're in that 2-3 zone, sometimes your immediate box-out responsibility is not always there. So, and that last time there was a few bodies there, but no one really boxing out and getting after it. Just Joe Chi going off with a tend to some blood issues.
Fresh 14 for the Hawks. Harvey. Long three, had a good look and jumped out. He's almost there, Tyler Harvey's. Had some good looks, they just haven't gone down. Barker at the other end. He's growing in confidence with every game.
Well, that's what can happen, though, when you go into the zone. You hear Gorgie calls out the two from the sidelines as they're getting back on D, but they don't find the shooter in the corner. And the Phoenix make them pay.
11 points on 4 of 8 in Saturday's loss. Auckland Barker. Ratan Mays missing from deep. Did well to keep it in and find the shooter.
That's just in the right place at the right time. And Tyler Harvey makes them pay.
5 of 14 from outside. Illawarra, Southeast Melbourne, 4 from 11. Barker. Can't convert. Brokoff came up with it. Layup.
That's double-digit rebounds for Ryan Brokoff in this first half. 8 points, 10 boards. And we're still a minute and change away from the major break.
He's had 10 rebounds. Illawarra as a team have had 14. Froling shifts to Cleveland, gets into the paint and doesn't score. Back to a 10-point game once again, which was the lead at quarter time. Ratan Mays uses Harry Froling. Had his feet set. It looked good. 63% from outside this season.
Yeah, when he's been open, he's been automatic. In fact, when he plays minutes, he knocks them down. His percentages are high when he's logging those minutes. Oh, dear. That is a little hezzy that just... we hear the oohs and ahs when people break their ankles. That should have been an oohs and ahs for the way in which they were caught off guard by that little hesitation move.
Shot clock switched off. Both teams only the 1 foul this quarter. That'll be the Phoenix second on Barker.
Allows Flavel to get Liafa back in the game. The lead perimeter defender. And still a couple of fouls to give here. 8 seconds to play for the Phoenix.
There is Isaiah Liafa.
All right, here we go.
Jessup back on the floor too. Conrad to be the man for a late bucket. It doesn't go. It's the Phoenix who find themselves in a really nice spot on the road at halftime. 47-38 they lead. And they've looked pretty good in doing so.
Why would they have? And they had a little scary moment there after a fantastic start, but they were able to eventually get back to their defense and really owning it on the boards.
Let's get to Hammer.
Got Ryan Brokoff, almost a double-double at the half, mate. 10 boards, winding back the clock.
Not that old, Anna, mate. Yeah, just the defense has been really solid. Guys have been boxing out, and I'm the lucky one who gets to come in and swoop them.
What was the mindset? 4 players out, your coach. What was the mindset and focus coming into this game?
Just get back to how we play. Pressure, getting up the floor, defensively being disruptive, and limiting to 1 shot. So we did a good job for a majority of that quarter, but you saw when we gave up offensive rebounds, ate some threes, and got momentum. So it's something to clean up.
Great first half, mate. Good luck in the second, and
Cheers,
stay
mate.
with us at home. It's the Phoenix by 9, but you just get that feeling this one's going down to the wire.
Great to have your company in the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's half-time on Monday Night Basketball. The South East Melbourne Phoenix away from home, leading 47-38. They want that spot back inside the top two.
Yeah, they certainly do, and what a start. The Phoenix came out of the blocks, and by and large, I think that they'd be pretty happy with what's going on at the defensive end. They are owning the boards 24-15 and getting good contribution all around. Mumford has been great. He's got the 12 points quietly going about his business, and Mitch Creek with the 10. I still wouldn't feel confident if I was a Phoenix fan, because we saw what happened against Perth. They can be hot and cold. But and Illawarra, I think it's still got more to give. Tidy up what's going on the boards, and there's a classic example. Need to be more physical, and I'm sure that's what Brian Goorjian will be preaching at the halftime break. Liam, they're the scorers, and it expected with Mumford and Creek and Harvey with the 9. He's starting to get it going from the three-point line, and Xavier Rathman-Mays has come on and given a good effort off the bench.
A couple of key guys for the Hawks. Bit quiet in that first half, though. Reith, Sam Froling, Justinian Jessup need to get those guys going. And you see 6 for 16. That's not too bad. Just under 40% from three, but look, dominant work on the glass from the South East Melbourne Phoenix. Ryan Broekhoff was like Dennis Rodman out there in that second quarter, just scooping them up. And
not quite the piercings, Liam. Or the tattoos.
No, or the colour hair, or the other stuff as well, the book, all sorts of stuff. But he was fantastic on the glasses. We get courtside to the Win Entertainment Centre. Shane Heal is there. Hammer, how did you see the opening half?
Well, he was a bit touchy about winding back the clock. It was a compliment. 10 boards for Ryan Broekhoff. I loved what he did, 8 points and 10 boards. But I love it when Phoenix get Mitch Creek into any sort of action on the on-ball. Whether he's the guy using it or whether he's the guy setting it, it normally translates to some pretty good options for Phoenix.
Hammer, we're seeing the Illawarra Hawks, and unfortunately, if you're Brian Goorjian, it's starting to become very consistent, these problems. We haven't seen that spike which we normally do after a couple of downers from a Brian Goorjian coach team. How do they change this? Is it just a matter of trying to be more physical?
Well, I mean, Gorge, he'd be scratching his head. They gave up 47 points at 50%. He had to resort to a 2-3 zone. That's just not Gorge-like. So he hasn't been able to find the solutions. I don't know whether it's personnel, guys not buying in. They look like they're together, but they're just not getting the results. At the offensive end, they have to start running more plays for Tyler Harvey. He's had 9 shots and he's hit 3 threes, but it's almost like he doesn't know where he's going to get them. Needs more flares, pin downs, a lot more movement, and I think they'll get better results.
Hammer, the other thing for the Hawks, at last in the league in free throw attempts, just 2 free throws shot in that first half. What do they need to change up to get some easy buckets from the line?
Well, I think they need stops and then start pushing it and looking to be able to drive and dish. Some of the baskets that Harvey did get where they were up fakes, and then they drove to the basket and then they went inside and out, either with the pass or the dribble. I think that translates to getting some free throws as well. Definitely more ball movement. They get a little bit stagnant at times, the Hawks.
Hammer, thank you very much. Still a long way to go in this game, but the Phoenix find themselves up 47-38 at half-time, and a lot of that is due to the great work of that man on your screen right now. Xavier Mumford has 12 points on 4 of 8 shooting in this opening half.
Yeah, he's been good, and he came into this league, and I thought it was the second coming of Darnell Mead, and he's still got more to give, and we're seeing it now, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Liam. Now that he's got that freedom, he's playing more minutes than what he's normally accustomed to, not pushing it as much, taking what's given to him, and he's got size, he can get to the rim and he can shoot the 3 ball, so a great outing for Xavier Mumford.
Well, really good first half. Mumford, Broekhoff, Creek combined for 30 of their 47, so key guys getting the pill, making things happen for the Phoenix.
You too can play like a pro with thanks to Bunnings Warehouse, who are giving you the chance to win your very own court at home. You can enter now at win.nbl.com.au/Bunnings.
I only worked on shooting, which is why that's really all I can do.
I had a basketball hoop and a little trampoline. I used to play back there for hours with my brother and get beat up a lot, but it was a lot of fun in the meantime.
My dad built one, so I had a little bit of like a half court going on, and that made my life the best, so I could never complain as a kid.
That was kind of like our sanctuary, our getaway from everything.
Welcome back to the Gong. I've got Coach Brian Gorge in. Gorge, a bit frustrating at the defensive end, giving up 47 points.
Yeah, and I think the first quarter, I don't know if we got a stop. They missed 2 free throws, but we didn't get stops. It's been our problem. We've been working at it all week. Creek downhill, on-ball screens, rollouts, defensive transition. They've just hurt us. We've got to get stops. When I bring the small lineup in, they hurt us on the glass.
How do you get points? How do you get points in this second half?
Well, I think it's if we get stops and we get momentum and we play downhill, we're much better than taking the ball out of the net and walking it up. 47's too many.
Good luck in the second half, mate.
47 points and a half. They concede 87.8 a game. Second last in the competition in that statistic.
Yeah, it's been an issue all season long, no doubt about it. And Gorge flipping the lineup, going back to his traditional starting group, Froling and Reith in the front court.
Harvey, leading scorer with 9 points. Jessup needs to get going in this second half. That'll help.
Tough shot, well contested and good enough to still put it in. And those 10 rebounds, we talk about, or 12 rebounds for Ryan.
For Dennis Rodman.
Yep. For Dennis.
For the worm.
Out there.
The Arthur puts the ball on the floor, pulls up from the free throw line.
He's taken over because 2 years ago, Dane Pinot had 10 rebounds in this arena in a half, and he's a little upset that perhaps we weren't recognising some of those earlier feats. But when someone's taken over, that's it. It's time to move on.
Shiny new toy.
We have short memories in this commentary team.
There he is, 13.
Today's news is tomorrow's fish and chips wrap-up. Sorry, Dane. Cheat. Trap baseline. Back out to Mumford. Shot clock at 9. He found some space. Liafa, the smallest man on the court, with the offensive rebound and the putback.
That's all the great defense in the world. If you can't come up with the second ball, the box out and get the rebound, you're undoing a lot of the hard work that you've had to go through.
Nice knockdown from Jessup. 5 points so far in this third quarter.
They're making a focus of him in the half court. Hammer asked Gorge at half-time there, how do you get some points on the board this second half? So let's get some stops so we can get things in transition. But in the half court, smart to get some things going for Jessup.
It's a handy option to have when everything else breaks down. Let's throw it upstairs for Cheat.
And he plays a little bit of volleyball with himself, misses the first one, also picks up a rebound. But yeah, Jessup's only had limited opportunities in the half court as well. And only had 4 field goal attempts, 3 of 4. And finding a way to get Tyler Harvey, as Hammer mentioned, a few more looks coming out of the sets, and also the same would apply for Justinian Jessup, and that always helps, causing a few turnovers.
There's one of those stops that Brian Gorgian was talking about. Reith steps out for 3. Not that time.
They're the kind of looks he was saying we can generate when we get stops. You catch the defense on the hop, penetrate, pitch, wide open 3 for a good shooter.
Illawarra, the second best third quarter team in the competition, averaged 23 points in this period. When they have been winning, it's been the third quarter where they've been setting up those wins.
Here's Jessup going in, and he made, as a left-hander, going to your right, made a pretty tough shot look easy. That's his bread and butter, feet step, and knocks down the 3 ball. Most points by NBL Nexter. Have a look at that. Justinian Jessup, 49 games, 653.
You were just reading that as you went along then. We could have put anything on the screen.
No, I was reading it.
I'm Andrew Gaze.
You happy with 653?
Well, I would have thought just a little light on to be putting that in the graphic, but hey, the Next Stars program, and it's a little, when you've played 4 years of college basketball and you're in there, yeah, he's technically a Next Star, but his level of experience compared to, say, LaMelo or Giddy, that's 18 years of age coming into this league without that experience, it's a lot different.
So you're saying it's like they've got 4 imports?
No, I'm not saying it. They have 4 imports. It's as simple as that. And there's a type of pressure up the floor, causing another turnover. Good signs for the Illawarra Hawks.
There we go, the thumbs up.
Got to be in the front court.
A little bit more positivity from the Hawks. They've got back to a 6-point game. The final game of round 10. Round 11 ready to go on Thursday. The Phoenix in action again. This time at home at John Cain Arena against the Kings. 2 on the shot clock for Duopre.
We've found a little rhythm and flow offensively. It's what George said, get some stops, we can start feeling good about ourselves, hop into the zone, changing up their D, making a little run.
Scored the last 6 points now, the Hawks. And that changes through Xavier Munford, who gets himself to 14 and the leading scorer in the game.
And already, although we're still a long way from the end, there's some big moments. And for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, that's a big moment. Just trying to snap that momentum that has been generated. Munford creating something off the bounce.
Loose ball available. Sam Froling dives on it. Jump ball.
It's a great call you make, Drewy, because it's that kind of bucket that they couldn't get during that 21-0 run from the Wildcats the other night, and they were in full control of that game, and then all of a sudden they weren't because they couldn't find little plays along the way to stop the momentum.
That's right, and a lot of the times it can just come down to talent. Those super talented athletes that you have that can understand the moment and understand when they need to step up, and most importantly have the skill to create those scoring opportunities. And sometimes it's something out of nothing, just those broken plays, just individual brilliance, or you go through your set nothing on and then just go off the bounce.
Brokoff left open, it's good. 1 of 5 from the game. He throws his hands up in the air and says, finally. And the Phoenix needed that. They've scored the last 5, and Brian Gorshin calls a timeout, 58-49.
I don't know how Brokoff gets that wide open. We know he's been up and down, mainly down from 3-point territory over the course of the season, and he was 0 for 4 before that shot, but he's still a hot guy. Got to stay within touch distance, be ready to close out. Wide open shot. He drills it.
I agree. I think Brian Brokoff, I know he's had his shooting problems this season, only shooting at 22% before this one from the 3-point line. Gee whiz. He can be 0 for 30 and you still got to come out there and at least wave a hand at him. History shows that that's what he's been renowned for. And that time, just a defensive breakdown at a critical moment as well. You're gaining momentum, you get it back to 4. Munford makes his play in a wide open 3. They are critical moments at games that come back to haunt you when you go through the review and you think of those chances to get back in and continue that momentum.
There's Alexander Volkanovski in the crowd once again. Go and have a conversation with Alex, Drewy, or is he the sort of guy that you want to have?
There's certain people you listen to more than you speak to. And there's a lot of listening going on.
Oh, yeah. Big Hawkhead. Love the way he gets around the Hawks.
Yeah, he does.
Gets down to practice, throws a few bodies around. And he's always there cheering them on.
Five and a half minutes remaining in the third quarter. Illawarra trying to hit back. Harvey's fouled. 3 free throws to come for Illawarra.
John Flavel's just signalled to his assistant who's on the laptop to have a quick look at that. Considering whether or not to challenge the contest from Liafa. Just going to look to see whether the kick out from Harvey. Definitely no kick out. Wasn't a lot of contact.
No, that's what I was about to say. Forget about the kick out. Was actually much contact. Harvey's right hand. You see when he come down with his right hand and he sold it well. He goes flying by, and as he's released it, the right hand's just stepped out a little bit of runs into it, and he falls over.
Jeez.
And earns his way to the free throw line, where, as was mentioned earlier, they haven't had a lot of opportunities from the free throw line over the course of the season. Opposition has taken more free throws than the Hawks. 10 out of 11 games. Yeah. And 72 extra shots across the season. It's a lot.
No, they're last in free throws by a long, long way. Shooting a lot of jumpers. And not much post up. As Mumford can't hit there. Contact underneath.
I have Conrad for clearing out.
Yeah, I got Conrad. I got 22, yeah.
Foul be on
22,
Conrad.
foul on the rebound, white ball then.
He's doing everything he possibly can to keep Joe Chi off the offensive glass, which they need to do.
Well, I don't think it's a bad foul given the situation. It's their first foul for the quarter, and they've been annihilated on the boards for much of this game. And just to show that you're going to get some... Oh, Chi. You know, Joe Chi just had a driving lane he gave up on, but you live with certain fouls just to even make a statement.
Nice drive by Harvey. Fouls on Lealfa, free throws to come, so Harvey back on the stripe.
Let's go, guys.
Lealfa picks up his third foul.
He doesn't think there was much in that either. Phoenix not challenging either of those calls.
The only player in double figures tonight for Illawarra, Tyler Harvey. He has 15. Next best after that, Xavier Rattan-Mays and Sam Froling with 7. And that rebound count now, Drew, is 30 to 17 in favour of the Phoenix. It's a big differential.
And 8 of those 30 have come at the offensive end for South East Melbourne Phoenix, and the vast majority of those 8 has led to relatively easy putbacks.
Creek had Lealfa in the corner. He jumps out. Hawks down 6. Rattan-Mays left it behind. Open floor is all Mitch Creek's.
Nice.
Little $500.
To the Dunkuary?
Dunkuary, that's it. $500 to the Australian prostate cancer. Costly turnover. Again, just as Illawarra was starting to get a little bit of momentum swinging their way. Harvey gets that to drop.
He's getting to his spots, Tyler Harvey. Getting into the lane, drawing contact, getting to his floater. He's got a game-high 18 right now. Ticking the scoreboard over.
Mitch Creek's been cold since quarter time. He was 4 of 5 in the opening quarter. He scored 4 points since then. Blocks the shot of Jessup.
They're all back. I checked it. You didn't have a fast break. I checked it. Wait. Settle down.
It's a flop warning.
Wait 1 second for it.
Good recovery here from Creek. Got beaten by Jessup. Stuck with the play, sent it away.
Ryan.
X-Man gets a flop warning too.
Play here.
We got the sub.
On that one, we played before.
Camera person's okay. Flop warning on Rattan-Mays as well.
Nice of Mitch Creek to go back and give him some love, make sure it's okay.
Yep.
So Lealfa comes out of the game. Lachlan Barker comes in. Interested to see whether Judd Flavel puts him on Tyler Harvey or turns to Xavier Mumford, because he's starting to cook right now. Second in scoring last year, and as you mentioned off the top, Drury, rounding into some really good form. Important moment in the game.
And Lockie Barker, although he's relatively inexperienced, it's a good drive. He's more than capable. When you're spot on, Lockie Barker goes straight to Tyler Harvey. And although he's inexperienced when it comes to NBL games, he's in practice environments. He's gone up against some of the greats of the league in past.
Well, he'll certainly be drawing on that experience. Had some minutes on Bryce Cotton the other night when just at a period of time when Bryce was starting to feel good, and then tonight
that can't be fun.
He's got to go up against Tyler Harvey.
Let's get courtside to Shane Hill.
Guys, we just saw exactly the same thing happen that we saw in the first quarter. Talking about Tyler Harvey, it's up to 18 points. They just ran a couple of actions for him. He got off the pick and roll. They swung him, came off the pick and roll, got himself to the free throw line a couple of times. If they're going to win this game, it has to be off them. Then the next time they come down, it's Jessup, and he throws it out of bounds after going 1 against 4 the play before. They've got to prioritise their best players and give them more options right now if they're going to win this game.
Thank you, Hammer. Tip-in goes for Ashley.
And they got a rebound. Again, it's a really contested shot. You've got to be able to come up with those defensive boards.
9 offensive rebounds to 5. Harvey, guarded by Barker. Late in the clock, Rattan Mays from deep. Nice hustle. Cleveland came up with it. Hasn't scored in tonight's game so far. He's now got his chance from the line.
Good crash from Cleveland. Just got to try and find a way to get into the game. Antonius Cleveland, as you say, 0 for 5 from the field, hasn't scored. So there, gets after it on the offensive glass. Give himself a chance.
In their last outing against New Zealand, he had 16 points, but all of them came within about an 8-minute period in that third period. And the vast majority of those scores were coming off the dribble. Get it to him, those native plays where he's just getting it to the rim. And 0 5 so far in this one, and not seeing it as much. And those same things you're talking about with, or Hammer was talking about with Harvey and Jessup, the same apply to this guy. So you've got your priorities of where you're going to and calling that action to get them involved. And he probably needs to find a way to exploit him a little bit more as well.
Extra pass for Creek in the corner. Shovels it to Ashley, who was in the keyway for too long.
It's the second time today. Brandon Ashley, 3 seconds. And Phoenix turning down shots. Barker, the extra pass to the corner. Creek could have let it fly. Too long in the paint.
And the behaviour warning for Jeff Flavel in the last minute as well. Rattan Mays falling away. Ashley drags in his 3rd rebound of the game. And Creek at the other end, trying to get himself going, scores.
Now, to Hammer's point, Rattan Mays on that, a fadeaway from the mid-range, highly contested, without really exploring other options. To me, that's bad shot selection.
Especially from, this is the guy that Gorgon and the Hawks brought in so that they can put Tyler Harvey off the ball, spend some time in the 2 spot, and they can have a playmaker and a creator, a guy that can get him shots without him having to create it for himself. Well, right now, Rattan Mays is 15th in the league in assists per game. I mentioned as a team, they're last in the league in assist percentage. He's picked up a couple of dimes today, but that focus of trying to get other guys looks needs to be there for him.
Nice look for Sam Froling that time. And yet Emmett Naar sits on the bench with 2 minutes and 47 of court time for the season. Creek underneath Ashley. This is from close range. And Harvey surveys the floor. That will be an offensive foul on Harry Froling.
It's been the call of the season. How many of these we've seen this season? And I like it. You've got to have the balance between the offense and the defense. And have a look here. Ooh, wasn't a lot. That may not have been the examples that I'm talking about, but you know what I'm saying when you're just moving on those screens. Now, that, to me, would, if you had a challenge, whether or not instead Brian Gorgon decides to go with the death stare rather than the challenge.
Can they overturn it off the death stare?
They can't, but it may eventually come back to him.
And it might have straight away. Offensive foul. This time on Brandon Ashley.
You know, you mentioned Emmett Nah a little earlier, and to me, he is the one when, for those that talk about mid-season trades and how in which you can perhaps change your lineup, here's the foul, and he's outside the no-charge circle, and not a bad call, but Emmett Nah is one that probably falls in the category. I could think of a couple of teams that could really utilise his services, and well, it's not like other leagues where the rewards are that significant, but I think there's enough that you can look at those trade options mid-season. Certainly, he's not, but based on what we're saying, he's not playing this season.
No, I know, but he blocked the ball.
There's a few guys around the league like that.
Thank you.
Get another look at this one.
I like that as a no call, because you saw Harry Froling, he just threw out his left arm and forced Creek. See the left arm?
Yeah.
Just threw that into the chest of...
Just tries to grab Creek. Vince Carter style.
And there's a time and a place for that.
But yeah, you look down at Tasmania. A kid like Nikita Mikhailovsky. It's a lot of talent.
Yep. I haven't seen
that kid.
You saw him in the preseason. Well, I didn't see much of him at all.
Two-time BTB Young Player of the Year. Can score. They've had some issues with him defensively. Why he's not getting much run. But a guy like Jack Salt in Brisbane, geez, he's shown a bit in his limited opportunities. We've expanded the league this year, 10 teams, but there's still some guys there at the end of these benches that are hungry for some extra opportunity.
Brandon Ashley picking up his second foul there. He's done reasonably well to stay clean for now. Did speak about it pre-game. He's fortunately finding himself on the wrong side of the officials. 3.8 fouls a game. He's averaging in only his 5th game. His return to the Hungry Jacks NBL. Down to 30 seconds.
The eye test says that this should be a bigger margin for Finn. It's only a 6-point ball game.
Brokoff fouled on the floor. Hawks have fouls to give. Clock goes back to 14. There's Judd Flavel, standing coach. Shout out to Simon Mitchell and Kyle Adnam, Dane Pinot, Cam Glidden, Ruben Tarangi, all not present this evening.
But they're recovering.
Munford. Late clock once again. Deep three. Misses out. Plenty of time here for the Hawks. The margin is 6 right now. Froling will have to get it away. It goes! The most unlikely of 3-point shooters to finish off the 3rd quarter. And there is 3 points separating these teams at 3-quarter time. Stick around. The final quarter from the Win Entertainment Centre is coming up next in the Hungry Jacks NBL. We're not really sure how, but it's a three-point game at three-quarter time here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Southeast Melbourne seemingly have controlled a lot of the game, but the Hawks have just managed to stay in touch.
It was a 7-zip run to finish the quarter there for the Hawks. And I think there'd be some nervous guys in that Southeast Melbourne huddle, some nervous fans sitting at home watching right now.
I reckon the Cocker sitting at home is not going to be all that ease right now.
Yeah, shades of Saturday night. Up 14 at one stage in this one. Lead now by 3. Make that one.
How this game changes. Although the Phoenix have one thing in their kit, they are the #1 fourth-quarter team in the competition, and by a considerable margin too. Well, they need that to take care of it tonight.
They've jumped it up, the Illawarra Hawks, on the defensive end. They had looked at a few different sets. It seems like right now they're starting in a zone, and they have some key, whether it's the second or the third pass. Then they break off into their man-to-man, and it's causing a little confusion for the Phoenix.
Jessup, with foot on the paint. Long rebound falls Southeast Melbourne's way. Creek drives, blocked. Froling got a whole lot of that one.
Having a massive impact. Sam Froling, the 3 on the three-quarter time buzzer. Quick take to the bucket to start this fourth, and then sending that away.
Just the fumbles there on that play. Here's the great work of Froling. Read it beautifully, used his length, and comes up with a big block shot.
Scored the last 9 points in the game, Illawarra. From a 9-point deficit at halftime, and clawed their way back in. Munford has been outstanding. Couldn't finish off though, he wanted a foul. The Hawks can take the lead off this trip down the floor. Duop Reef, left-hand finish. There's Froling. Draws contact. They'll go to the line to take the lead.
Jochi comes along the baseline to help out Ryan Brokoff on the block, and no crackdown on the weak side. Leaves Brokoff to have to recover across to block out Froling. Too late. He's on the rim, and he's having himself a big game. Comes off the bench for the first time this season. Sam Froling coming off what was a quiet night in Tassie against New Zealand. There's 5 points and 7 boards, and in this second half in particular, having a massive impact.
We get caught side to Shane Hill.
Does he do anything wrong?
And you're right, Liam. Andrew asked the question in the first quarter, how was Sam Froling going to respond about coming off the bench? And he's arguably been their most impressive player so far. 16 points, big blocks, good D. And Drew, you're right too on the defense. It's been after 2 passes. They're starting in a zone, making 2 passes, and back to man-to-man. It's worked.
Illawarra lead it by 1. What have the Phoenix got in their trick bag? They're depleted, coming off a big loss. They need to find a way, and that might be the solution. Xavier Munford. Cleveland hard to the basket at the other end. What do they do here, Southeast Melbourne? Scoring has dried up a little. It was 25-19 in that third quarter.
Well, firstly, don't get suckered in by the zone into the man-to-man. Get through your sets. Maybe look at the extension of that and go an extra pass, extra 2 or 3 passes, get some more cutting action, because if you're in that situation, you're not always going to be matched up on like for like and you have the perfect matchup. So figure out a way, rather than just randomly going to stuff and just looking to the penetration, get through it and try and expose and get one of those mismatches that have been created for the strategy that Illawarra are using. And the other thing right now, their offense is really drying up in the half court. Look to get out and push the floor, try and pick something up cheap. In the transition.
Last time Illawarra led, Liam, the score was 4-2.
They've done it the hard way. They've stuck with it. Won the second quarter, won the third quarter by 6. And now, as Hammer suggested, early doors, this one's going down the stretch.
Cleveland's third. Illawarra's first foul of the last quarter. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games at home, which is really uncharacteristic for this team in this venue. Munford has the switch. Chi guarded by Harvey at the moment. Illawarra jacks up the 3.
That's a tough hit. Didn't have much going offensively there. The Phoenix, good defensive possession from the Hawks. Contested pull-up 3. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the offense.
38% shooter this season from outside, Jose Illawarra. Reith at the other end. Can't respond. There's Munford, who had his pocket picked. Xavier Rattan-Mays doing the 1%ers. The things that Brian Gorson and the Hawks fans love.
Well, there's a great little deflection, and that's unlucky on Yo Chi. He's just going down for the ball, and somehow they've plucked a foul on Joe Chi, and that's going to be his 3rd foul. I think that's a bit stiff. You got 2 guys going for the ball. It's on the floor. There's no real solid contact. He's not trying to hold. It's one of those ones I think you just let him battle it out.
Illawarra showing more of that physicality, Liam, that you were talking about. In their loss to New Zealand after the game, Brian Gorson said it was incredible what New Zealand were able to do to Illawarra. They've learned something from that. Rattan-Mays gets to the cup. Back to a 1-point game. Brokoff's shot was deflected. The long arms of Duop Reith had a say on proceedings. Rattan-Mays running the floor. Harvey wants to get in, kicks it back out. Shot clock down to 5 for Cleveland. It's not the look that they were after in the end. As Chi rolls to the basket, fouled. Points will count with 1 to come.
Good patience from the Phoenix there in transition. Mitch Creek pushing it, probing, seeing what was on offer, and eventually Xavier Munford just waiting for the ball screen. Pick, roll, catch and finish from Chi at the rim.
You're in that little shakes actions, that you know, the on ball on the sideline there, and if you're hard showing, you've got to have that baseline guy, and that time was Tyler Harvey, getting over there a lot earlier if that's the strategy you're using. If you're going to hard show on that and you don't have ball pressure, that big guy's diving, it's almost impossible to stop if you're not over there early.
6 minutes remaining on Monday Night Basketball in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Tasmania watching on nervously. They could be in the 4 by the end of the round if the result goes their way. Rattan-Mays stepping up in the 4th quarter.
Mixing it up too. Getting to the rim, finishing at the cup. And there, pulling up from long range. They're bringing Joe Chi up into those coverages. Sam Froling, early slip. And Chi's chasing him. And then as a result there, hand down. As Rattan-Mays rises up and drills it.
Here you go. 3rd player for Illawarra into double figures, the Canadian. Phoenix lead by 1. Illawarra is there for a while. Doesn't get it to go. Rattan-Mays kept it alive for Harvey. Now Reith spinning baseline. Put a foot on the line.
More than a foot, I think it was a foot out of bounds. It was well out of bounds on that one.
Creek all the way. Didn't get it to go.
Drive up a little on the perimeter. the Phoenix. And when I say a little, quite a lot. 6 of 22 now. Sub 30% after what was that really hot start in that first quarter. Had some good looks.
You want both of them to get one?
And it's almost identical to what we saw against the Perth Wildcats, perhaps a little less dramatic, but 1 of 16 after a 3 of 6 start against the Wildcats. And they've got some guys out there that can put it in the holder.
It's the Phoenix who lead by 1, 5:13 to go. A timeout called. Phoenix have 3 of them remaining. Brian Gorshin has 1 left at his disposal. When we jump out of this timeout, it'll be Xavier Rattan-Mays on the free throw line. A little bit going on here.
A little bit of how you going, nothing in it. Even Creek said to the official, he's up. Just having a bit of a chit-chat here. Nothing in it. All good.
I think they might have known each other from around the traps and said to the official, it's okay, we're boys. Brian Gorshin trying to find some sort of solution to arrest this trend. Phoenix who lead it by 1, and if you think that you can shoot a full court shot in an NBL game, then the details are on your screen right now. And this is the competition for you, the Latrobe Financial Sharp Shot. $50,000 on offer as well if you choose to shoot from half court. Here's Mitch Creek on the free throw line to extend South East Melbourne's lead. Coming into this game, here are the league's top scorers in the bottom left part of your screen.
He is a lead, Mitch Creek, the season that he is having. And it's not just the work that he does on the offensive end. He's a presence all over the floor.
Huge key to that scoring for him this season has been his three-point shooting, near on 50% on a high volume. But you know, he's just got a little dry the last couple of games. 0 of 3 the other night against Perth. He's 0 of 3 from the perimeter so far tonight. Needs to stay confident.
Last touch by the Hawks. That's out of bounds. Phoenix trying to make it 7 wins for the season and cement their spot inside the top 2. Offensive foul on Brandon Ashley.
We showed the video at the start of the game, didn't we? And how you've just got to learn your lessons. And here it is again. Now that one a little less. That's Xavier Mumford's got a little bit to answer for that. Wasn't sticking his foot out, it's just a little late. And Mumford goes on that drive.
That looks a lot like our pre-game conversation.
100%. It's exactly what it was.
That's why we pay you two the big bucks.
Oh, we get a lot of help.
And our outstanding team behind the scenes. Reith steps out, knocks down the deep one.
Simple action. Well executed. Pick and pop. Dangerous shooter, Dwight Reid. And we're all tied up. Oh, my.
Again, this is another one where I think Mumford might have a bit to answer for. Here's the last basket, as you mentioned, real simple stuff. When you've got a great shooter and you're in those shows, comes here. Oh, I'm not so sure he did much wrong on that one, Liam.
Well, they do have their challenge in hand, the Phoenix. They've kept it up their sleeve. Timeout called.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have another look at that one. And it's always easy when you're getting this super slow-mo.
Ask and you shall receive.
That's what we do here. A lot of toys to play with, and they do a great job with it. Here it is. Gee. Put it this way, you wouldn't have been complaining too much if it wasn't called. maybe a hint.
I think it's just that maybe that right knee just slightly out of the his cylinder there, just leans out, collects Harvey, but it's ever so slight. And I tell you, these Hawks guards are selling those calls.
My word. And if Mumford just waits an extra dribble, just, you know what's happening, he's having some problems getting there. Let him get 100% set before you even think about using that screen to help out. But that was a little stiff.
So he's got 4 now. 4th consecutive game with 4 or more fouls. Brandon Ashley. Judd Flavel's just going to leave him out there. So you know what? I got Big Joe Chi chilling, catching a breath here, ready to close this thing out. Go back out there. Get stationary on your screens. You've got a little bit more burn before you're done.
Well, the thing I would say in his favour, because we were critical of him of the self-inflicted wounds when we went through it at the start where he's leaning and dropping. His intent there was to try and get set.
Doesn't feel like that long ago we're singing his praises and saying he had 1 foul and he'd stayed out of trouble. 4 minutes remaining. Ratan Mays thought about it. Decided to defer to Harvey instead. Guarded by Ashley. He's done really well to stay in front. Excellent play from the big man.
That's where Harvey's just got to go around him. I know that's excellent defence, but he was doing all the yo-yo on the one spot. Create some separation. Try and get in there. You might have to kick out pass, but just going backwards and forwards on the one stop. Ashley was able to use his length.
And playing with 4 fouls. Did that really well, Brandon Ashley. And the Phoenix have their turn offensively. Mumford with 16 points. Heart of the basket. That's 18.
Good take. Little flex underneath Xavier Mumford. He is getting things done off the bounce.
And what he did there is what I think Harley should have been doing at the other end.
Cleveland goes inside, levels it back up at 78. It's going down to the wire at the Wynn Entertainment Centre.
We spoke about the pick and pop with Dwight Reith a few minutes ago. The Phoenix make the adjustment here. Got to switch. They switch that, and then as he rolls but down low, Brokoff bumps Xavier Mumford out. That's the possession that resulted in the stop late in the clock. Good effort by the Phoenix.
That one on Cleveland, and that will be 5 for the period for Illawarra. So both teams, free throws to come with every foul from now.
And then the way Brian Goorjian then responded and adjusted to what the Phoenix did. Next possession down, he left Dwight Reith out of that play, brought Antonius Cleveland in to set that pick. Create confusion. Here's the confusion. Now there's a switch. They're not sure. Switching, staying. Cleveland to the cup.
Yeah, well done. The little game of chess that we see from these coaches and how they're going to exploit what the defence is doing and the adjustments, and good recognition and adjustments made on the fly on how you're going to counter what the other team's doing.
Creek goes 2 from 2. 18 points. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a couple of blocks. A lot of his work was done in the opening quarter. Now Reith has the size advantage over Liafa. Backs all the way in and finishes off over the top.
He handled that well. Didn't rush it. Got to his spot.
Scores level at 80. Mumford uses the Ashley screen and creates the switch. Now guarded by Reith. Wants to take him on.
Huge.
Rattles it home.
That's tough. That is a tough finish. That is a big, long hand to finish over. Hangs in the air. Kisses it off the glass.
He's having some sort of night, Xavier Mumford. 20 points on 8 of 17 shooting. Shot clock in single numbers here for the Hawks. Offensive foul against Xavier Ratan Mays.
lack of awareness from Watan Mays. That time they switched, and so Dwight Reith took Liafa to the block, had the mismatch, just space it out, go back at the big fella. He just scored on that mismatch the previous possession. Instead, Watan Mays puts it on the deck. Liafa rotates over, offensive foul.
Yeah, he thought with that switch that he had the mismatch, but there was a more profound one and a better high percentage on the low block. And a little out of control on that drive as well.
It's the point Hammer has been making all game long about this team and awareness. So you got somebody gets something good, one possession. Tyler Harvey earlier. Dwight Reith right there. Go back at the well.
Are you surprised to see Sam Froling not out there at the moment, Len?
He's been very good, hasn't he?
Broke off, misses everything. Offensive rebound, Ashley gives Creek another opportunity. He's well short.
They've had success of getting to the rim and getting to the paint. In the last two shots, they just blaze away from the three-point line. Talk about going back to the well. Phoenix.
Loose ball, Brokoff comes up with it.
The worms all over it. On the deck for rebound 16.
You're determined to make that stick, aren't you? Munford threw a bullet in for Creek. He made it work. 2-possession game now. 1 minute left. Reith for three. Got it! Big time knockdown.
This time he flares to the wing. And that's a good-looking stroke for the big fella. Nothing but cotton.
3 of 7 for the night. 1 point the difference. A steal in the open floor. Cleveland gets up for the dunk. The Hawks are back in front. The fans love it.
What a defensive play. Antonius Cleveland. Equals second in the league in steals with his teammate Tyler Harvey, and in a big moment, gets his hands in, puts his team in front. Here's Reed, pick and pop, knocks it down, and then the turnover, thanks to the active hands. Thank you very much, Dunkueri in transition.
How quickly did it turn too? Phoenix get a play, little tip in with Creek, you go 4 points up, and then literally 15, 20 seconds later, you're a point down. And costly turnover, great hands and deflection in that on-ball situation. Led to the breakaway dunk.
There's your man.
Yes, Graham Lancaster.
Long-time contributor to the Illawarra Hawks.
Man around town.
And I remember once, a couple of seasons ago, made comment about the headgear. Rob Beveridge gave him a call.
He let you know?
And said, listen, this guy's made a long-term contribution. Give him a break. But I said, mate, he's wearing a hat with horns on. I think he's after a little attention.
He's a lawyer by trade. Everyone needs a good lawyer. Let's get courtside to Shane Hill.
Well, we thought it might come down to the wire, fellas, and we're getting our money's worth right now. But the ramifications for both teams about a win and loss here is huge, especially for Illawarra that really have been struggling of late. Crowd's starting to get into it. You can see them starting to build a little bit of confidence through their defense, which is what Gorge spoke about. It's all up to them now.
They are the only team this season, Illawarra, to not beat a team in the top 5. This is the scalp that they've been looking for. It's theirs if they're good enough. But the Phoenix certainly aren't going to give it to them.
They sure
or maybe they will. Press rewind, go again. Antonius Cleveland.
Ryan Brokoff charged with the inbound responsibility. You could see that. I mean, it's easy when we're sitting up here watching it, but you could see that coming a mile away.
The last 7 points in the game have been Illawarra's. Cleveland playing for the steal. Fouls Mumford, who's got free throws coming.
How about the active hands? Just a little laissez-faire on the inbounds pass, and Cleveland takes it away.
It is, and down the other end, though, unnecessarily swiping at the ball. He fouls out of the game. And when you're up by 3, 30 seconds to go and your team's in the bonus. It's just that, and you got 4 fouls. I know he's just come up with 2 steals because he's with those good hands, but that was just a wild swipe of the ball.
It's been a big, big night for Xavier Munford. 21 points. 5 assists. Make that 22 as he knocks down both. A point separating these 2 teams. Semi-finalists from last year. Both trying to climb that mountain and get back there again. Shot clock down to 8. Harvey crosses over on Munford, drives high, doesn't finish. There's Duop-Reith. He doesn't get it to go either. 10 seconds left for the Phoenix. They almost lost the handle. Munford trapped in the corner.
Oh my, jeez, had a hard time controlling it there. Xavier Munford looked like he was about to spill at any moment. Luckily for the Phoenix, the Hawks knocked it out. 6 seconds to play with, down by 1. This is where Judd Flavel, the moment he's been waiting for.
This is the time when the coach drawing up a play, and I don't think you need, I'm sure they'd have their reservoir of plays of what they're going to put in place at this stage. There might be a few tweaks considering what's going on, but based on the last inbounds pass, first and priority is make sure you get it to our guys and not theirs. This is the first thing to consider. Now, they're going to review this out of bounds as they can.
It takes me back 2015 Grand Final Series. Here's the out of bounds. Have a bit of a look here.
Oh,
hang on.
Does Tyler Harvey get his left hand involved
there? But then, inconclusive. So I think you're going to have to stay with the original call. Nothing there that you can see that can overrule it. Is there?
That Grand Final Series, Game 2. Judd Flavel, assistant coach with New Zealand, against the Cairns Taipans. Dean Vickerman's the head coach. 1.2 seconds on the clock.
Yes.
And he goes into the little coach's huddle and he says, let's run. It's a gate switch, I think, and the play that ends up with Akene Bekwe knocking it in, winning the championship. They said, Judd Flavel brought that to the table. What play does he bring out of the playbook right now? Second game as an NBL head coach.
Ladies and gentlemen, the NBL's encyclopedia, Liam Santamaria. Wiki Maria.
I thought you were going to the other one, but he wasn't there, of course, when Boone hit that one in New Zealand as well.
What have the Phoenix got?
Same play, Drew.
6.5 seconds left. Inbound for Crete. Barely sighted since quarter time. It'll have to be Munford. Got the shot away. He's been fouled. What drama.
See that coming a mile away.
There's a challenge in play. Gorge has kept his timeout. He's kept his challenge.
I'm not sure.
He's going to send that to the replay centre.
May as well have a look maybe and hope the replay centre has a meltdown and doesn't come up with what looked pretty obvious in a closeout. Contact was there. And the other thing they got to review is how much time was left on the clock when the foul was actually called, because burning the timeout now for the review may cost you because you may not be able to advance it. There you see the foul on the shooter, and that's a foul. Comes into his landing space, makes contact.
So he does kick that right leg out after the fact, Munford, but from what I can see, the foul, you look at that top right hand screen, I feel like the foul occurs there, and then the kick out happens.
No, there's no kick. That's kick out's more a result of just your normal shooting action when you're pushing it and off balance, and he goes out there more than anything else. So that's a foul. And now that he's done that, that's his last time out.
Yep.
So he can't advance the ball on a made basket. Now, not only has he got...
Have a look at the clock.
he's going to have 3 cracks at it. I reckon it's about 1.1.
Yeah, it's over a second, and you're right. They won't be able to advance it. So you make the first 2.
That's it. I think that's a heat of the moment.
Thank you.
Called by Brian Gorgian, where...
All of that will be looked at, yeah.
Look up, I'm ready. Coach's challenge is unsuccessful. The hands foul stands. We have 3 shots. Coach loses his timeout.
So Xavier Munford walks to the free throw line with 3 free throws. His team down 1.
Sorry. 1.3 on.
And 1.3 seconds on the clock. But to matters at hand, the New Jersey native.
Solid free throw shooter as well. 85% or near enough to it on the season.
That's 1. Ties it up. This for the lead. And 1 to come after it.
Now, if you're the Phoenix, take those 2 foul-prone big fellas off the lane line.
To make it a 2-point game. He misses. Deliberate miss. Rattan Mays throws it away. The Phoenix go to the gong and get the job done. 88-87. Undermanned. Big-time win.
Well, I look back on this, and this was a great effort by the Illawarra Hawks to get back into the contest. Got the lead, looked in a very solid position, and that last possession, you respect the enthusiasm and closing out, but tough way to lose a ball game. Rattan Mays just over-committing on that attempt by the X-Man, the other one, Munford. And, you know, Munford, he had an outstanding game, 24 points, big moments, 8 of 17 from the field, but some real big moments down the stretch of getting to the rim, finishing some tough plays around the basket. He was huge in this one.
Now, Foot Locker player of the game after being smacked on Saturday by the Perth Wildcats to the tune of 22 points. Southeast Melbourne get on the road with 4 of their best and their coach out and win tonight at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. 88-87 the final result. We're back to wrap it up next in the Hungry Jacks NBL. was a drama-packed night at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. The South East Melbourne Phoenix, with 4 of their best and their coach not playing, found a way to get the job done. Only their second one-point win in their short history. But a win is a win when you're on the road.
Well, it is, and we'll take a look at some highlights here. And we saw the Illawarra Hawks in that second half started to get it going on the offensive end. A few sloppy turnovers. Both teams not terrible. 13 turnovers to the Phoenix, only 9 to the Illawarra Hawks. But they started to make shots. They made some three-pointers. They ended up 11 of 30, and all of that put the Illawarra Hawks in a great position after trailing big early on. They come back and put themselves in a winning position. But here's the play that looked like they were going for a handoff from Mumford. Almost lost it. That is just a bad decision in a pressure moment and not thinking it through. And that's a terrible way to lose it. And then Brian Goorjian, in that heat of frustration and thinking, well, that can't be right. I'm going to make this challenge. That challenge was never going to get up. And they weren't able to get a timeout and perhaps have a shot at it. Froling was great, but down the stretch, sat him for a fair bit. He had his 17 points and 5 boards. And, you know, there you look at the overall shooting, and the Phoenix get away with only shooting it at 6 of 24, again, after a great start from the three-point line. And the rebound count eventually started in that second half, come back more towards the Illawarra Hawks, and they found a way to get back into the contest.
Worth noting, in the end, not having that timeout, he wouldn't have been able to call one anyway. Mumford misses the free throw and the time would have expired. But what a game for your Monday night.
And take a look at the ladder. At the end of round 10, the Tasmania Jack Jumpers are in the 4.
How about that?
Wow.
And they deserve it. Full credit to them. I love the way Scott Roth is engaging the fans, really having that community aspect to it all. But forget about all that. The X's and O's and the way in which he's playing defensively, probably the best in the competition right now. And offensively, got a system in place that's getting the best out of his athletes. So well done to him. A long way to go. I'm still not sure they're going to win the championship, but they're hell of an effort so far.
We're going to see you Thursday for the Phoenix and the Kings to start round 11.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.
Monday the 21st, my time. And she's just like saying that's 6. It might be Tuesday. I'll have a look. It's got to be, that's Sunday. Okay. That's a Monday for me. And it's Sunday night for her. Because we're 16 hours behind me. I'm sorry, ahead of me. They're 16 behind us.
So, in terms of the dates, the 20th is the Sunday. So, for her, it should be the Sunday the 20th.
Right.
And for us, Monday, 10 a.m. So, can we look at the block?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good now, right? You can step back where I'm skew with. Touched it. he doesn't have to chase me anyway. Thank you. Hey? Yeah. As far as I know, yeah. Because I was on the Wollongong. I was on the game on Sunday, so I don't know when we'll find out. I'm not sure, because there would have been 2 crews on Sunday, so I'm not sure if I will still be doing Sunday. Yeah. For this Saturday?
For Sunday.
On Sunday, yeah, but isn't it being paid Saturday?
Yeah, it's Saturday. There's always a game on Saturday.
There always has, oh.
No, I thought it was Friday.
I don't know. The things have changed so much. So it's supposed to be Saturday and Sunday game for Wollongong originally. Right.
That's strange.
So, that's weird, yeah, because I originally got the Kings down for Sunday, which is pretty rare. But
Oh, but that was a double header.
it was a double header, yeah. That's why I thought I was here. But in my diary, I had Kings for some reason. Alright.
Maybe you're doing the Kings one because there's why would you be on Captain?
I know, well, if it was double header, it would have been here. I know, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe she just mixed it up.
Yeah, I'll have to. I'll just email Faith and just make sure. Just tell them quiet on Sunday.
Saturday, same
Same
time,
place.
but same place. I'll just drop one too. You want to pass that?
See you guys. Bye, Kat. Bye.
Yeah, double header on Sundays.
Is what, sorry?
The one Sunday was supposed to be for Kiros.
Yeah, and you.
But it's only Kiros now.
Sure.
And then Saturday is yeah.
Yeah. I'll just find out from Faith whether I'll be doing Sydney game.
Well, they're on separate days now, so.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I could be, but she might have already booked like a Sydney crew, Wollongong crew, because I was on Wollongong crew. I'll only sad she booked a Sydney crew. Yeah.
Well, I know they added the camera festival for that Sunday.
They did,
Yeah, they did.
Aye.
So there should be 5 cameras anyway.
Yeah, sure.
secret. You can't tell Garrett. So I put in some NB during the rooms to create the field. Yeah. I didn't take it out until 46 seconds.
Before the end of the game.
Yeah.
Well, did he hold focus?
Yeah, he was fine. Like we had plenty of level out there. Like we were on like 8 or something.
Oh, yeah.
And he was at 4. But I just forgot.
Oh, no.
And you know what? I think he's a bit scared because one time he called up and said, "Oh, can you take that ND out?" And I said, "Oh, you haven't got any in there to take out, Gary." So I think he's a bit shy now.
Well, he did alright. He didn't struggle.
Yeah.
On that 4.
Yeah. The lighting is good. We hardly have the sticks. Yeah. It's good. Like, kudos is terrible.
Yeah.
Kudos, I noticed, is much worse on camera than it is in eyesight. Yeah. Like,
That's why I didn't see it. That's why I
yeah,
didn't see why
it's
you're
fine.
complaining.
Like, I watched that women's game the other day and yeah, I thought, geez, the lighting looks great. On camera, it's terrible.
Yeah.
That's why they say, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
The lighting was fine.
Yeah. Very good, isn't it?
I mean, with the resources they have, they should be much better than here.
Yeah. Well, they had the original Sydney Olympic lights. Did you notice on the tennis?
Yeah.
The super slow-mos with flickering.
Oh yeah, that hurts. Yeah, that's the worst thing about Super Sono.
Right.
Like it doesn't sync up with the.
Yeah. So we looked it up, and those lights were put in there 6 years before the first slow-mo was used on broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
They don't flickers. Well, modern day only does it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing about the Super Sono. I find it really distracting. I mean, it looks great, but you just constantly see it. But I think the public's kind of used to it. Just the early days when they used to was the open. When they used to ban the camera.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Eli used to do it.
Yeah. He still does it. I worked on the Olympics for him.
Oh yeah. He was in charge of the robotics. So he supervised.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Judd, I guess it was never meant to be easy to get your first win in the NBL, was it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was just proud of the guys with the response that we had. You know, we had a tough loss at home. One that didn't sit right in I think any of us for the last 24 hours, but the great thing about having the quick turnaround, obviously, is we get a chance to get back on the floor, and I think, you know, just the attitude, the mindset was great from everybody. You know, and then obviously we walk out of this place with a win, which isn't an easy place to get a win. But yeah, just really happy with the mindset that we win about our business tonight.
I know it obviously came down to a pretty dramatic finish, but given the circumstances, given 2 nights ago, given the guys you were without, on balance of the game, you probably were the better team for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I mean, we miss those guys that are not with us. Obviously, that's our bench squad, and you know, we're a very deep team. But I think we showed tonight, though, that, you know, if we can tidy up you know, a few things that we did or that we wanted to address from the last game. I thought our offense was much better tonight. Illawarra put on their zone, which sort of put us into put the handbrake on for a little bit. Then we found our groove, and obviously, it was a tight ball game down the end. So, yeah, it was a better overall performance from us, much better.
And Xavier, just for you, obviously that last play probably didn't turn out how it was drawn up, but once you got the ball in your hands, were you always confident that you were either going to make that shot or get fouled? And then how were you feeling once you went to the foul line?
I was just trying to actually get the ball. Once Creek threw it in the air, I was just trying to protect the ball. And then I looked at the clock, so I had to make a play. And it just so happened that he overjumped and it was a foul. But yeah, I didn't. That wasn't the play we drew up. It broke down, and we just made something out of nothing.
Hey boys, nice to be speaking to you on the other side of it a couple of days later. Jade, can you talk a little bit about Xavier's game tonight? I mean, I thought every time the Hawks kind of put a run together, he was the man that stopped it. He just seemed to lift after Saturday's debacle, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for us, he's the obviously the driver of the offense, and we played off a lot of pick and roll tonight. A lot of that was due to, I guess, we had to shorten the playbook because they went zone and they mixed up their man and zone down the stretch. So we kept it pretty basic and simple and just said, hey, X, we're putting the ball in your hands, work off that middle long ball. And I thought he did a great job with either finding guys off the roll or himself getting to the basket. I think got himself to the foul line. Obviously, big ones down the stretch. And for us, that's where it starts. Yeah, I mean, the last play of the game was just, it wasn't tidy at all, but it was just, I just wanted to get the ball in this guy's hands and let him go and do his thing.
And X, sort of at the start of the season, you're pretty explosive, and then I guess teams would have keyed in on you and tried to figure out your tendencies and that sort of stuff. Do you feel like you're building again and starting to figure those defences out and you can build from here?
I feel like just our team has a lot of depth, so it's not going to be one guy going out there every night having a great game or this and that. Everybody's going to switch up. Rowdy started playing well. Creek was playing well. Joe had his moments and stuff. So we have a deep team, and everybody's going to have their night. So I just want to come in there and just play my role and try to do whatever I can to help the team win.
And John, you did say that it was just a couple of simple things that you need to clean up, keeping the opposition off the glass and taking care of the ball more. I think Rowdy took it seriously. He had 16 or 17 boards. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge part of his game, actually. He's a great rebounder. He's a great off-ball defender. Puts himself in the right positions, and I think that's what makes him a great rebounder as well. Yeah, I mean, his contribution, I think, gets the rebounding. It gets a little bit lost because he's known as a shooter, but for us here, he contributes in many ways. And I mean, if he's not shooting the ball well, he's doing plenty of other things out there tonight. And now I want to also I thought Isaiah was great. His work on the defensive end, he knocked down his shots when he needed to. But I think he did a hell of a job on Jessup for the most part of the game. Just one more on Rowdy. I mean, the shot just hasn't fell for him this year. Does he speak about that at all with the coaching staff, and does he get down on himself, or does he just go, I want to try and impact the game in other ways?
No, I think you just said it. He impacts the game a number of ways. We have a lot of weapons, so look, if it's his night, we keep going to him. Part of being a good shooter sometimes is just the gravity that you have on the defense. So X probably reaps a lot of the rewards of that in playing the pick and roll game, hitting rollers, and you dare come off Rowdy. Sometimes you're in sort of no man's land, or you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So even if he's not shooting, he's still a shooting threat. I wouldn't step off him because in practice he shoots the lights out of it. So I mean, we just got to continue to be patient, run through our sets. He's not somebody that you give the ball to and say, hey, find a shot. We just got to orchestrate that throughout our offense and our sets.
And can you throw us forward to Sydney on Thursday? You've got another pretty short turnaround, and are you expecting any of the players back, and what about Solomon?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. you know, I think it's going to be close, but yeah, I think it's we may get Dane back. He was the first one to go down with COVID, so. But yeah, not 100% sure or clear on that one. I'll leave that to the management. Obviously, expect Sydney, they're rolling as well. Can put a lot of points on, defensively for us, and that's where it all starts with us. Is on the defensive end. If we're able to get stops and take care of our business at that end of the floor, we have a good flow and good rhythm going down the other way.
You talk about that, just last one, you talk about that defence. It was interesting to watch tonight. You're either locked in and then you had these lulls. How do you work that out and figure that out and stop it from happening?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been a little bit of our inconsistencies, I think, throughout the season. Something that we want to continue to build is, knowing and expecting us to be a defensive team. So we're going to demand that. It's still a work in progress. I think there's still, with quick turnaround games and things like that, there's always a bit of a balancing act of how much scout you can get in 24 hours. So there's always going to be, some of those breakdowns there. But we've got to make up for it with energy and enthusiasm. And that was our message. It was really coming out and being aggressive. And I thought for the most part, Reed had some pick and pops opportunities where we lost him. Sometimes when you're hard showing, you try and take care of Harvey, that leaves other guys open. So you can't take care of everybody, but it's still a work in progress for us, and that's a good thing because we haven't reached anywhere near where we know where we can be.
Just for you, Lex, after you hit those first two free throws in those dying moments, Creaky come over and chat with you by the looks of it, and I'm guessing the conversation was around they've got no timeouts left, they can't support here. Do you want to maybe miss this one deliberately? What was the conversation, the thought process there?
Oh yeah, I was planning on making it. Creek came up to me and said, "Just miss it." I asked him if he was sure. He said, "Yeah, just miss it." I just wanted to get the best miss I could, I had already given up hamburgers earlier, so just want to get a good miss and get out of here with the win,
Exactly, and how believably, there was obviously a couple of hairy moments where Antonius Cleveland got those two steals, one off yourself and one off the inbound where Ryan tried to get it off you. Obviously, you must have still had that self-belief that you could turn it around, go from 0 to hero, so to speak.
Oh yeah, definitely. Cleveland, he's a great defender. He's long, he's athletic, uses his hands, he's a great defender. And I just wanted to use his aggressiveness against him. I know he had one foul left. I was trying to use his aggressiveness to get him out the game, So it worked out for us.
Jesse, just one quick one. Good win tonight, Coach.